acronyms all over the place, even in politics. It's a joke. It's distilled down to sound bites. We please act like grown-ups. This is lawmaking we're talking about, not a freaking text message conversation. Anyway, so these two acts have potentially disastrous consequences for things that we enjoy doing, so that alone should be getting you a little bit riled. Now, to start with, before you say, oh, well, I'm not in America, so this doesn't affect me, yeah, it does. The problem is, a lot of legislation are in the States, and also we're talking about a country that has a great deal of control over the internet, so that's something that you might want to consider to be somewhat dangerous. Now, allow me to give you a real-world, this is not a speculative example, this is a real-world example that happened just a few days back. So, Universal Music has been getting all the tizzy over Mega Upload. Mega Upload, they brand as a piracy site. On the 29th of November, Mega Upload was unavailable across many countries without request, and it was branded as a rogue site. The law enforcement authorities got involved in this. So that, if anything, is a bit of an impression of what's to come. However, it doesn't end there, because this is the thing about this bill. It's not just about taking down rogue sites. It has far more dangerous implications. So, in support of Mega Upload, a bunch of artists, including P. Diddy, Snoop Dogg, Kanye West, produced a song in support of it. YouTube was forced to take that song down when they received a takedown notice from Universal Media Group claiming it violated their copyrights. Now, the scary thing is, it didn't. It didn't violate their copyrights in any way, shape, or form. They did not own any of the content in that video, and yet they blocked it anyway. This is an example of obvious corporate censorship, trying to censor the video because it raises awareness of an issue that they don't want people to get all activist about. Why? Because they prefer that people they take away your rights one at a time. The scariest thing is apparently they didn't even need the rights in order to take it down. They didn't need to have a legitimate copyright infringement claim. Under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, in order to remove this video, they claimed that sometime in 2009 they'd made an agreement with YouTube which allowed them to take down stuff they didn't have the right to. That should scare the hell out of you. It really, really should. You're talking about a corporation that apparently has the right to the world, as well as, of course, the largest supposedly free video distribution site, and arguably the largest site which enables the promotion of free and open speech on pretty much any topic you can imagine across the internet, internationally. That's something that's really important. Internationally, this site, YouTube, is able to allow a medium of free speech to people in pretty much every country you can imagine. However, the problem with this bill is destroy YouTube and any similar site. Now, why, you might ask? There's a fairly large article, a definitive post on TechDirt that I'm referring to right here by Mike Masnick, and there is a link in the description below this video along with all of the other references that I have referred to here that tells you exactly why that is. Basically, SOPA and Protect IP allow the takedowns of site via DNS blocking simply because they could potentially enable copyright. Unless the site is actively participating in copyright infringement, i.e. it is knowingly and expressly infringing copyright, it can't be held liable for the actions of its users. Yeah? It's the same reason that YouTube continues to operate. If some YouTube user uploads a bunch of copyrighted material, YouTube is not responsible for that. It's the user's responsibility. They're not the one who gets sued. The user gets takedown requests, and if, of course, it continues, they, of course, get banned from the site. If they continue to circumvent it, then yes, the law can get involved in it. Just bear in mind that the court, some guy just ran into the side of your car with his Toyota car. Is it Toyota's fault that that happened? Unless, of course, it was a very obvious mechanical fault that caused that to happen. No, it's the driver's fault. It's not the car's fault. Let's take it to extreme, shall we? Because let's be honest, SOPA and Protect IP are extreme pieces of legislation that have far too wide-ranging consequences. If a criminal had counterfeit goods in a bank's safe deposit box, SOPA would allow legitimate IP process. And you might think that that sounds extreme, but no, it's a good analogy because that's exactly what it does. Basically saying that, well, YouTube, you've got some copyright content on it, so you know what, we're just going to block your entire site. Basically, it would result in the shutdown of YouTube and any streaming services because someone could potentially infringe copyright. And it goes further than that. Think about other sites where you can host that. Facebook. You can host copyright content on Facebook. You can post a copyright image on Facebook. Facebook could go down after that. Sure. Why from? photoblock it, things like that. You could even go as far as to talk about things like LiveJournal and people copying articles and posting it on their blog. That could technically be copyright infringement. The wide-ranging consequences to this are absolutely massive. And what scares me as well is the fact that the process would allow widespread DNS takedowns of websites without notice. And that basically... There are ways around it, of course, which is why DNS blocking is a stupid idea anyway. It can be circumvented, but it causes a bunch of very real problems, including, of course, security